Alright, so I just picked up these two Game Boy Colors with the intention of modding, well, at least one of them, of course. You may remember I modded a Game Boy Color into like a third-party Pokemon Special Edition shell. And when I did that one, I kind of had the intention that I was probably going to sell that one. I've only ever played and beat like the Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Yellow. So after like the first generation, I don't really know anything about Pokemon. I don't like dislike Pokemon or anything. I'm just not really like a big Pokemon fan. And again, I wanted someone who was to get that one. Well, it turns out my cousin's son, who's like 12 years old, is a big Pokemon fan, and he asked his parents for a Game Boy Color for Christmas, which made me laugh because he's 12 years old. And I had to ask I asked my aunt, who was, who would ask my cousin, who would ask him, I guess. I asked my aunt, has he ever played a Game Boy Color? Has he ever seen one in person? Does he realize how bad the stock screen is? Because, again, he's 12. He was born in 2009. He grew up with iPads and iPhones. He's never seen anything this bad in his life. I said, I don't think he could even comprehend anything being that bad. So I said, look, he's gonna want a modded one, and I've got one I can sell. So I sold it to my cousin for a really, really good price, like basically cheaper than you could get a Game Boy Color modded, IPS modded anywhere else. So that worked out fine, and since then I've been looking for another one so that I can mod another one for myself. Also since then, those like Q5 laminated larger IPS screen mods have come out, and so of course I wanted to do one of those. Yeah, so anyways, been looking for cheap Game Boy Colors, but apparently those are not as easy to find as they used to be. A lot of them on Facebook Marketplace. People are asking like $100 for them. And in my opinion, a Game Boy Color is not worth $100. For me, $60 is like a fair price. I'm not going to pay more than $60 for one. So this one was being advertised for $60. So I got in contact with this guy this morning, and I said, yeah, I want to buy that off you. So I started to drive to his house, and I get about halfway there, and he messages me and says, oh, like, I just tested it now and realized that the sound on it doesn't work. But I have a lime green one if you want that one instead. And I was like, well, yeah, I don't care what color it is. So that's fine. So now I'm going there to get this one for $60, right? And I get there and I look at it, and yeah, it didn't have the battery cover. So I guess, like, technically if I was buying this one, or when I was buying this one, it would have been one with a battery cover. But I guess he took that off, put it on here, and he's like, well, here you go. Now, not a big deal. I don't really care. A lot of these are missing the battery covers, or the battery covers are broken. And I'm going to be changing the shell. When you do those IPS mods, you typically want to change the shell anyways, and the shells are going to come with a new battery cover. So, really doesn't matter. But, while I was there, I figured, I'm here anyways, and I'm always looking for more Game Boys to mod. So I was like, well, you take $40, for this one, even, understanding that the sound doesn't work on it. And he said, yeah, that was fine. So, yeah, I ended up buying this one for $60 and this one for $40. Apparently, it's very common for the sound to stop working on a Game Boy Color. And it's usually just the speaker. So the speaker fails, just needs to be replaced. Again, not a big deal if you're modding one of these anyways. You can get like replacement speakers from most of the websites that sell the other replacement parts or the mod parts. And the speaker's only going to cost you like a couple dollars, so really that's not a big deal. Getting this for $20 less, and it just needs a speaker, that's fine. Assuming it's the speaker, which again, usually it is. It could also be the headphone jack. So like, when you plug in your headphones, it turns off the speaker. So I think what's happening when you plug in your headphones, there's an extra connector in there that you're breaking the connection on, and that turns off the speaker. But if that, connection gets corroded, then even when it's supposed to be closed and there's no headphones plugged in there, it may still prevent the audio from getting to the speaker. So it could be the headphone jack, but typically it's usually just the speaker. So again, not a big deal. When it comes to buying Game Boy Colors for mods, really when it comes down to it, the only thing you need is the motherboard. When you're doing an IPS mod on a Game Boy Color, there's a lot of, you've got to cut the screen out to be larger, first of all. And that's not just on the screen cover. As you can see, the green there, that's also part of the shell. So if the screen's bigger, now you got to modify the shell so that cutout's bigger. And the screen takes up a lot of extra space inside. There's a lot of stuff you got to cut out. It's a lot quicker and it's a lot easier, and it's probably going to be a better result if you just end up changing the shell. The shells aren't that expensive, and there's a lot of different color variations. Like if you want, I don't know, a clear orange one or some customized Castlevania. There's so many options when it comes to aftermarket shells, and you're probably just going to want to get a new shell anyways, right? And like you can buy aftermarket buttons, you can buy aftermarket membranes. The shell's going to come with the battery cover, sometimes the battery contacts. So like again, really you just need the motherboard. If I could just find like really beat up Game Boy Colors, maybe the screen's all scratched, or it's missing the screen cover, it's missing the battery cover, the buttons are all worn out, the case is cracked. That would be ideal, if you could pick up a really cheap system and really you're just buying it for the motherboard. But I don't see those very often, so I don't know. Maybe modders are really quick to scoop those up. A lot of times they're missing the battery covers. And yeah, typically people want about $100 for one. When I was looking for this one, there was one advertised with the speaker not working, and even that one they wanted $100 for it. But that one did come with the box, so the box is worth something. I personally don't care about the box, but if you're a collector, you might, and the box is definitely worth a lot more. If it's a Game Boy Color and it's got the box, it's going to be worth a lot more. But again, yeah, I've seen them missing battery covers. I've seen them advertising speakers not working. It's fairly common. But again, like personally, I'm not going to pay more than $60 for one. And if it's in bad cosmetic shape and it's cheaper, that's even better. These ones are both in really good shape as far as like how they feel. The buttons, the membranes on the action buttons and the D-pad on both of them feels really good. I think I did all right here. Again, $60 and $40. Could I have done better if I was more patient? Probably. But again, I've been looking for a couple of weeks now, and typically not seeing these really under $80. I haven't seen. So to get one for $60, I think is fair, and to get one for $40, I think that's fair. Even knowing that it's gonna probably need a speaker, but again, if you're ordering all the parts to do mods, anyways, a $2 speaker is no big deal. So yeah, Game Boy Colors, they're fun to mod. I'm probably going to eventually mod both of them. I might keep one stock. I do like the lime green one. When I bought my first Game Boy Color, back in 1999 probably, or maybe it was even 98. I don't really remember. It might have been right around launch, actually. I bought a Game Boy Color, and I did buy the lime green one. I remember I bought it with Shadowgate, which is like an NES game, but they redid it on Game Boy / Game Boy Color, and I eventually had Super Mario Bros. DX. It was one of the early games I had. I was still in high school. I remember bringing my Game Boy Color to high school, and I remember one of my classmates looking at it, and it was funny because he starts playing it, and he's like, "Oh wow, they really increased the screen resolution on this." But that's funny because they didn't. The Game Boy Color, the screen resolution is the exact same as an original Game Boy. The screen's a little bit smaller, so the DPI would be a little bit higher. But the screen resolution is actually the same. Super Mario Bros. Deluxe is cropped. It's not the same resolution as the NES version. It's a lower resolution. But I don't know. It's just, it looks a little bit sharper, I guess, because the screen's a little bit smaller. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, I had a lime green one. I guess my point is, if I was going to keep one stock, I would like it to be this one. But of course, it's the one missing the battery cover. But I could probably just buy a battery cover and maybe a new fake serial number sticker, or just take that one off, and it would be okay. And I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably just end up modding both of them eventually, because, again, eventually someone is going to want to buy one off of me. So, and they're fun to mod. So, I mean, I like modding them. You know, again, if a coworker or a friend ever asks me to mod one, I'm going to do it pretty much for free as far as labor goes. You know, cover the cost of the system and the screen, and we're good. Because they're fun to mod.